Hello friends, let's leave all rumors aside. And I am recording this prior to the so-called Leonardo guaranteed champion event that we're getting mixed signals about currently at the moment at which I'm shooting this. Partially I'm recording this video because hindsight is always 2020 and it's funny. It would be so funny if I pull one of the champions that I will be talking about today after the fact. And when you guys watch this, I'll already have them and I'll have to be shush about it. But here is my most wanted top 10 non-void legendary champions that I'm hoping to pull. Don't forget to use my promo link to get yourself a free legendary Raphma tab, as well as the epics Tagore, Ugo, and Lady Quillen as you level up. Here's how to do it. Log out of Plarium Play on PC and uninstall. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Launch raid and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champ. And that is all you have to do to get your free legendary Raphma tab, as well as Tagore, Ugo, and Lady Quillen as you level up in progress. So don't miss out and click on my link right now. I actually got reminded that I had a 2025 wishlist video published, and I spoke about some of the champions that I'd like to get on this account. Of all rarities, I included both rares and epics even, and we're gonna do a recap of what kind of champions I've pulled in December, how much of this wishlist came true. So this is, I guess, part 2 of me manifesting some of these legendaries. And this is putting aside the turtles in April. Who knows if I'll get my hands on them, but here are the top 10 non-void legendary champions that I'm hoping to get by the end of the year. By the end of the year is a little steep, but at any point during my journey, thank you very much. I'll start you off with an uncommon pick, and I have to pay special homage to Cupidus. He was one of the first champions that I ever saw in the game and fell in love with. I didn't understand what his kit did. I didn't know that he's near useless in most areas. But regardless, there was something about the aesthetic visual of Cupidus that hooked me, and ever since I've just wanted him just for the beauty, just for beautifying my team. But I'll acquaint you with his kit very quickly. AoE on his A1, inflicting extra damage if the target has any debuffs. AoE with a chance of placing a burn for 2 turns. Increased attack, strong one, attacks one enemy afterwards, with the chance of placing a burn on all enemies for 2 turns if this attack does kill an enemy. The HP burn cannot be resisted. On his passive, he has a synergy with Venus. Always counterattacks when attacked, and attacks inflict 25% more damage. So he technically is only really good when paired with Venus. Venus is a void legendary, we can't talk about her today, but Cupidus has been one of my number ones since starting the game. I don't care what you think, also. Make your own list. Number 2 is a most wanted for a lot of people, that is Duchess Lily 2. I cannot believe she still evaded this account. For the sheer amount of demon spawns that I have, and would you check the kinds of demon spawns that I have, Duchess Lily 2 fits, and Vulcanus is just waiting for her to show up. Shield on her A1 double hitter, shield being equal to 10% of the champion's max HP for 2 turns on her and the ally with the lowest HP. Block debuffs on a 4-turn cooldown, plus strong increased attack on all allies for 2 turns, and a perfect veil on everyone except herself for 2 turns. She does place another veil here on her A3 after reviving all dead allies with 70% HP and placing a 15% continuous heal buff on them. At the end of this turn, 4-turn cooldown, passive decreases the damage taken by all allies from AoE attack by 25%, a little bit less from bosses. 15 still good. Ally speed in all battles by 19%. Need I say anything more? You probably very well know why Duchess Lily 2 is amazing. I personally really want to pair her with my Vulcanus. Place that block debuffs so we avoid being crowd controlled, so my Lamassu doesn't have to throw away her cooldown decreaser with intercept at the start of the turn just to protect one of my champions. Duchess Lily 2 can bring that by herself with the block debuffs. On top of that, and I don't really need it for normal faction wars anymore, but I'm sure she will come very much in handy for hard faction wars and some of my dungeons. I want to use her in my Hydra teams. I use Vulcanus in my Hydra teams. Paired with her, that would be fantastic. What a good synergy, right? And the revive, like, I don't have to bring Arbiter anymore. Arbiter sucks in Hydra, at least in my opinion. There's so many better champions out there. I talked a lot about her. I promise I do not have a crush. I know you want me. Next champion up on the list is someone that everybody wants, and that is Wixwell. I will not elaborate any further. I will just tell you. that this is probably my only shot at comfortably one King, Ultra Nightmare, Demon Lord, unlocking the fast battle option, quick battle, auto battle, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. And he's in so many cheese teams. It's everybody wants a Wixwell. Okay, let's move on. This is a cheat pick, but I can't not mention him. There's gonna be some champions that are missing from this list, and I need to alliterate. This is the kind of wish list that I have for my account. Your journeys differ. We're going through a very different experience here. I have knights, okay? Most of the game is already done for me. Next champion is one of the barbarians. Also a very desired champion for you, Fate Weaver. You can kind of see the pattern here as to what I need. Why I really want her is she's a multi-purpose champion. She comes with a lot of useful buffs and debuffs. Provoke on an AoE is very important. Slot her in any of my Hydra teams. Preferably someone she has a synergy going on with. Because she's a tank, she's a defense. She activates the skill whenever shield buff placed by her is removed by damage. And she does bring that shield on her A2 with a strong increased defense on all allies for 2 turns. The value of the shield is proportional to the champion's defense and each target champion's max HP. All of your allies' max HP accumulate on top of her defense to make that a gargantuan shield. Have you noticed how pretty her actual shield is in game? A3 removes all debuffs from all allies, places a block debuffs on them for 2 turns, and fills the turn meter of all allies by 20%. Talk about a multi-purpose queen on a 3-turn cooldown as well. Ooh, she's fast. This debuff cleanse and block debuffs combo is the best case scenario. I am very much lacking block debuffs. Very much. I only have epic champions with block debuffs, not even from the same faction. That's another story. Passive is also very cool. Increases the champion's defense by 5% each time an ally inflicts a crit. Stacks up to 50%. Assuming that you put all of your nukers in 100% crit rate, you've done your job. This is insane. Her hits are also based off defense, but you don't care about that. You care about the shield growing. Active effect prevents the death of the ally with the highest crit damage except this champion and keeps them alive with 1 HP when hit with a fatal hit. If there are multiple champions on the team with the skill, this effect only activates once, then heals that ally by 20% of their max HP and activates an instant turn effect on them. So whoever your strongest nuker is on the team, she will keep them alive, heal them, support them, in particular be their personal escort. I would love to pair my Freya with a Thor. And we can also include a buff extender here for the shield. Take her into clan boss, infinity shield kind of thing with Wixwell, maybe. I also have Androck as a buff extender, so there's that. The next champion I picked because it would be very fun to taunt people with him, and that's Mighty Uko. Mighty Uko is a beast in arena. Synergy is as follows. He revives all dead allies with 40% HP, places a block damage buff on them for a turn, and a strong increased speed on all allies for 2 turns. Even if there are no dead allies revived by this skill. So you can just use this for the increased speed. Though it's on a 4-turn cooldown is the best case scenario, really. It's a really fast revive. A2 attacks all enemies twice. Each hit has a chance to remove 2 random buffs from the target. And if the targets have no buffs after the attack, he places a block buff, debuff, and a strong decrease accuracy on them for 2 turns. A1 attacks all enemies with the chance of placing a decrease attack. Big one. On his passive, he has a 50% chance of stealing a random buff from a random enemy each time a buff is placed on the enemy team. Will only attempt to steal 1 buff for each type of buff placed simultaneously, so only 1 random buff may be stolen if 3 shield buffs are placed at the same time. For example, any stolen buffs become protected. A Wukong-esque passive, except it happens much quicker. You protect the buffs that you steal, and ally speed is 20% in all battles. Mighty Uko just sounds really, really fun to play with, man. This is a horrible skill if you don't have someone to beat through block damage, or if you've just used up your block damage beater. You've killed someone with block damage, then Uko comes and revives them and places a block damage again, and your skill is on cooldown. And if you bring a cooldown decreaser with this Mighty Uko, like an Armand's, like an Alice, you name it. Oh, it pains me. It pains me to think of my opponents experiencing this in arena. Uko. Number 6 is also kind of a no-brainer. That's a Ratos, the Last Groom. Purely for this crazy A3, man. Attacks one enemy, ignores 60% of target's defense, also ignores unkillables, block damages. Enemies killed by this skill cannot be revived if this champion gains the maximum amount of HP from the Vitality Plunder, that's the A2. Grants an extra turn if the skill kills an enemy as well. The Vitality Plunder is what screws up your arena teams. He attacks one enemy, destroys the target's max HP by 20%, and adds that HP to this champion's own max HP. You can't destroy a single champion's max HP by more than 60% in one battle, and cannot increase the champion's max HP by more than 600,000, equivalent, you know, to the percentage. Destroys the max HP of bosses by 30% of the damage inflicted. Instead, this champion's max HP will be increased by 15,000 when this skill is used against bosses. So a little bit less than the max HP that he destroys. He'll like leech off half of it. But still, damage is based off attack and HP, so the more he uses this skill, the more his damage will multiply. He also brings a decreased defense on his A1 and an extra chance of granting an extra turn. Because why not? You needed it, right? Decreases the damage from enemy hits so that incoming damage from any single hit will not exceed 50% of the champion's max HP. I know, right? And then grants an extra turn if this damage reduction occurs. This does not work against bosses, and when paired with Siphi the Lost Bride, he decreases the damage taken for bosses by 30% instead of 15 as specified by this skill without her. So paired with Siphi, of course, you're gonna get a boost here when targeting bosses, but in arena, you don't really need her. Ratwas can still one-shot and block revive anyone. Very, very meta champion. Deserves the hype. The next champion on my list. Is it? Yep, it's an undead, again. And this one is purely for the shits and giggles, and that's Ultimate Death Knight. I so long to build an annoying go second team with a 2-piece stone skin on the Ultimate Death Knight and watch y'all scramble for a He-Man while I bring a secret block damage champion. And then you'll have to bring along someone who beats through stone skin and block damage at the same time. Or two of those. He's the ultimate speed bump in arena, the most annoying motherfucker. Do we need to recap his skills? Do we really? I guess very quickly. A single target provoke, AoE with decreased attack, and a chance of placing a fear for each legendary champion. Shield and continuous heal. That happens so very quickly. 3-turn cooldown. The value of the shield is proportional to the champion's defense. Passive number 1 has a chance of completely blocking a hit, which is why he's famous, decreasing the incoming damage to 0. This champion will receive that damage instead. Will also redirect any debuffs from the hit to this champion. Chance of blocking a hit and redirecting the debuffs decreases to 50% if the attacker is a boss, so you use Ultimate Death Knight mostly in PvP. Does not work if the attack on the ally was an AoE attack, by the way. Has to be a single targeter. Whenever an enemy is healed, heals his champion by 20% of that heal. The only way to go around this is to place a heal reduction or destroy his max HP. And he increases his HP, defense, and speed by 10% for each dead ally. Didn't need him. Speed bump, you know? There's so many good champions here. I'm gonna proceed. Number 8 is a champion that I recently saw perform on an account takeover, and I was pleasantly surprised as to what I found, and that is Ankara. White Queen Ankara is actually so very cool. She has a random cooldown decrease of an ally's skill by 2 turns on her A1. When you pair it with the King Narcissus, and if he has any active skills on cooldown, she decreases the cooldown of one of his skills by 2 turns. But if he has no active skills on cooldown, it will be a random ally skill. If the cooldown on the skill is fully reset, she heals that ally by 10% of this champion's max HP as well, so her own HP. Brilliant. Full debuff cleanse with a shield equal to 25% of her max HP for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. When paired with Narcissus, also places a 25% strengthen on all allies for 2 turns. Who doesn't want an extra strengthen? And fills the turn meter of all allies by 10% regardless. Fast Queen. Rise My Love revives a dead ally with 50% HP, 75% turn meter, that's almost filled. Resets the cooldowns of the revived ally skills entirely. If the target is Narcissus, she gives them a bigger HP boost, 75% heal after revive, and a full turn meter filled. After the revival, she decreases the turn meters of all enemies by 10%, so switcheroo from here. And if Narcissus is revived, she decreases that turn meter by 20% instead and cannot be resisted. Passive. Whenever an enemy tries to crowd control the ally with the highest crit damage, she transfers those debuffs to herself. It fills the turn meter of that said ally by 50% if they miss their turn due to one of those debuffs. At the start of her turn, she removes any of these crowd control debuffs if King Narcissus is on the same team. I know. Even though you can very much have her quick, You can very much afford to miss a couple of turns. Have you noticed the cooldown of this passive? It's a 1-turn cooldown! 1! She's gonna be fine. Ally speed in all battles by 19%. Beautiful champion. Maybe a little niche, but I really like the sound of her kit, and she sounds so fun to play around with. 9th champion, I'm gonna go through very quickly as well, because he's the most wanted for all of us, and that is Nut. Whoever doesn't have a Nut is suffering. Suffering through these hard Fire Knight missions. And generally, Nut just makes your life so much easier. He's an amazing counterattack defense freeze champion. I think I just told you about all of his utilities in a sentence. Used in a lot of unkillable clan boss team rotations, used in hard dungeons, used in Cursed City hard, used in Doom Tower hard. He is the key to taking me higher into mid-game and helping me get to endgame. And that's enough, or more so not said. Last champion on the list is someone I'm still sour about because I couldn't get them during the fusion, and that is Fabian. I hate myself for... I don't. I was traveling to the States. For the first time in my life, I visited the States as a tourist, not as a work and travel student, as a tourist. And so I do not regret missing Fabian, but oh, do I have such insane FOMO every time he crowd controls me in arena. And granted, I just pulled myself in Armand's not long ago. That kind of makes up for it. You know, I'm not too sour about it anymore. I just needed one good crowd controller, one meta crowd controller in arena. And that's either Fabian or Armand's, or in my case also Nice. But I can't build Nice to do what he does in endgame. Fabian and Armand's are much easier to build out. This Fabian is, I dare say, maybe even a better crowd controller than Armand's. I said it. I said it. Let's not go over his kit. Try to make this short, cute, and sweet because I'm sure all of you know who these champions are, why they're good. You've come across them one too many times in the game and they've whooped you and you've been like, damn, some people really do be living my dream. Have I got any gear on my Mikey? No, but I am building a preset for him, am I not? No? Sorry. Jeez, I wasn't aware. Anyway, I'll get to that in a little bit. And let's see if this list, if me speaking it out loud, does anything, if the universe is hearing me. Maybe send one of these into my mailbox within these 2 months. I'd be very, very happy. One of them. I've picked out only the really good crop. The very good eggs. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. And I will see you again in the next one tomorrow. Bye!